Welcome back. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this substitution cipher thing. So there's a previous video that's already posted that has the theory on substitution ciphers, and I'm expecting that you've already looked at that. You might want to go do that if you haven't. But that video goes over the basics of substitution ciphers. It talks about the simplest kind of substitution cipher called a Caesar cipher. There's also something called an nth letter substitution cipher. And at the other extreme, there's something we could call a random substitution cipher, and that's what I've got on the screen here. The idea, you have letters that go into the cipher, like A through Z, and then you have letters that come out. So this particular mapping, A is in, B is out, and if a B goes in, an I comes out, and if a C goes in, a Q comes out. So this output column is essentially chosen randomly and used for the encryption. So there's many possible, there's actually 26 factorial possible mappings using this random scheme, which is an enormous amount of mappings. So there's no way we're going to be able to guess the key. There's just too many possibilities. But what we can do is we can do frequency analysis. Now, frequency analysis relies on us having some information about the original data, okay? Because if we know something about the original data, then we can look for patterns. For example, in English, certain letters show up with certain frequencies. E being the most common letter by far. In typical English, there's about 12% letters are E's. The next most common letter is a T, typically, and S and R are kind of in that range. And this varies depending on the particular context. Like if you're reading a news article, or if you're reading a poem, or you're reading, the Bible or whatever, it's going to be the frequencies are going to vary a little bit. So you need to know a little bit about the source data. So the data that we're going to do just for this demonstration is this article on renewable energy from The Economist. So The Economist is a British newspaper. So there's going to be some British spellings. There's going to be, like, the word London shows up in there. Like here, story is spelled with British spelling. It's also, so there's a lot of kind of big words, or at least medium-sized words, because it's that kind of publication. This is about the environment, so there's words like Fukushima. There's words like global gas market. So when you're doing the frequency crack, you can, it helps to know it helps to know a little bit about what to expect in the file, in addition to just the frequencies. Okay. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and encrypted this by some random mapping that I'm not going to show you the mapping, but this is what you get. So this consists just of, the input file consists of only lowercase letters and spaces. I'm leaving spaces in there because the spaces actually make it easier to crack. So it's just lowercase and spaces. So in the output file, that's all we see. It looks a little funny because there's not a lot of spaces, but remember, some letter, could be H, is being substituted for spaces here. So you're not going to see as many spaces if it were an uncommon letter like Z or something. You're not going to see a lot of spaces. Conversely, spaces in the plain text file are mapped to some other ordinary letter. It could be P or something, maybe. So, you're not seeing, it looks different. So let's go ahead and jump into the code that I've posted for this thing. So first, let's just go through this program and see what it does. So first, I've got a little structure here that I'm using to calculate frequencies. So I've got count and frequency in an array called car freaks. There's 27, so I'm using lowercase a through z plus the space, and then I need to keep track of the total characters to get the frequency. Then I have this inverse mapping table right here. At first you see that the input is the same as the output, with the exception of space. So basically it's just passing through the encrypted file. So if an A comes in, an A goes out. If a B comes in, a B goes out. It's all the same except for space. Space I've put in an at symbol. And the reason for that is because the spaces are going to be the first thing that we identify, because spaces are by far and away the most common thing, right? In here, if you look, there's more spaces than there is anything else. The next most common character after a space is an E, but there's probably about twice as many spaces as there are E's. So I put the spaces in there to make it easier for you, but we want to kind of mask the spaces so that we can see the real spaces, so to speak. So that's just a little trick that's why I'm making this video, because there's a lot of, it turned out this thing, and conceptually it isn't super hard, but there's a couple of little tricks like that would slow you down. So I'm hoping this will be helpful for you. So that's one trick. Okay, then the next thing the first thing that happens is open a file. Then we're going to loop through the file. Oops, sorry. We're going to loop through the file here and read characters. And while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and count them. And yeah, we're just counting them there. And then we're doing the lookup through the map table, through the map table we just looked at before. So you don't have to change any of that. And then after we're all done, we'll have the total count, so we can use that total count here to sort of finish off our frequencies. Okay, and just some little details on dealing with the space. But basically, this is just printing out the stuff. So when I run this F5, I run this. This is what I get. I get the frequencies. You can see right away that Y has 17% of these things are Y. That's the highest frequency by far. The next highest frequency is T at 9%. So essentially we know right away that Y is the space. And we also know that T is the E, because those are the two most common characters in this thing. So it does that, but before it does that, it runs everything through the mapping. And of course, originally the mapping is the same. And you can that's the, oops, wrong one. We need the encrypted file. You can see that it's the same, right? Just J, Y, L, J in the encrypted file is coming out in the output. J, Y, L, J. It's the same, except for I've substituted spaces for the at symbol. Okay. So at this point, our program is basically taking this etext file and passing it through with the only change being that the spaces are replaced by at symbols. And the reason we're going to do that is because we know from this frequency analysis down here that space is Y. So let's just go ahead and change that. I happen to know that if I get a Y in, that's actually a space. So you could say Y's are really spaces, right? So let's go ahead and change that here and rerun. And you can see that it's looking more like the source, the unencrypted. I've got A space, careful space, observer, right? So J space, 7 letters, space, 8 letters, observer is 8 letters, space, 5 letters, right? So it's already getting a lot, it's getting more like the decrypted text. Okay, the second thing that we could tell from our frequencies, where's my frequencies, is that T was the next most common. So that must be an E. So T is an E. So let's change that. T in gives me E out. And I'm going to use a capital E because I want to identify the things that I changed in the output, right? It's another little trick that you need to see here. So we run this. You know what else I'm going to do before? Because I don't need these frequencies anymore. So I'm just going to comment out the lines where I'm doing that. All right. And run that. And it's starting to look a little better. Okay, we need a very little bit better. We need a little bit better look at these frequencies. Let's get this arranged here. So what I've done is I've taken the initial frequencies that were dumped to the screen and I've just pulled them into Excel and sorted them. So Y was our most common, 17%, and then T was our next common. So we know that Y is a space, and we know that T is an E. And then over here I've got a table of standard English frequencies. So there's different tables that are out there, and they all vary a little bit because, like I say, it depends on the particular document or whatever, the particular kind of usage of the English. News article, rap song. Who knows what it's going to be. So this will vary a little bit, but you know that these letters are going to be towards the top. And these letters are going to be towards the bottom. That's not going to vary a heck of a lot. So we can't say that J is A, but J could be A, could be I, could be S, could be O. It's not going to be one of these down here, right? So that's kind of what you do. Okay, the secret to this, are you ready? The secret to this is the word the, T-H-E. That is your secret to cracking English, because T is very common. Rather, right here, E and T are the two most common letters. The word the is a 3-letter word that if you knew the T and the E, then you know the H, and then you're really getting a toehold on this thing. So let's look for the, right? So I run this thing and start looking around for that. Could be the, right? O, B, I can't change to E. There's another one that could be the. This could be the. It could be. So let's go ahead and just jump in there and say that that's it. So O is T. Let's say O is T. So I'll go to my spreadsheet and I'll change O to T. And it's not exactly in the same position as standard English, but it's approximately. So let's go ahead and change that in the mapping here. O is let's make O a T, right? And what was the other one? B, let's make that an H. That's a little bit risky, but I'm feeling lucky. So we'll make B an H. You can make it worse. You got to be careful, but let's go ahead and go for it. So B is an H, let's say, right? Let's run this again with those changes. Oh, it's looking better, right? We got right here, this jumping out at me, the, first of all, I got all these thes sprinkled all around. I like that. That next word could be heat. I don't know what else it could be. Height? No, it's not even a word, right? So I'm guessing that J is an S. And how does that jive with our frequencies? Where is S is up here? It's number 5 in the most common. Here it's number 3, so it's roughly. Let's go ahead and say that that J is an S. Run it again. I got Okay, that's, I don't know what I did there, but I meant to make J an A to get heat out of that. I don't know what happened there. That's even better. That's even higher up on the thing. So let's see what I get now. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that. It's late. What do I got? The heat. Okay, so we're starting to get in there. Let's just kind of look around and see what we get. What I can find. By the way, that was a good call, I think, because at the beginning we have a single letter word, which has got to be either I or A. It's one of the two. So that's looking good. If you see any words, put them in the comments. Oh wait, I have comments turned off. Let me just look here. I see something that might be a 2. If M were an O, that would be a 2. What else could it possibly be? What 2-letter word that begins with T is there in English? So M has got to be an O. Let's change that. M to O. M to O. And rerun it. I've got a bunch of 2's poking out of me. That could be a 1. O, Z, E. Z is probably an N. That would make this on. That would make this maybe an something. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's make the 0 or the Z an N. This could be, don't know, Annie, maybe. What do you think? D, and the heat. That makes more sense than Annie the heat. If C were a D. Any other, what else would making C a D change? I can't, let's just go ahead and go for that. So a little bit of guess. There might be a better choice, but I can't see one right now. So let's go ahead and make C a D. C is now a D. Run it again. What do we got? And the heat. Something. Looking around. Nothing's jumping out at me right now. Oh, this could be bean or seen. Have we done S yet? I don't think we've done S yet. Could be seen. That. Could be bean, could be seen. Hey, this is jumping out at me for some reason. This right here. If that were any other, right? That word pair, any other. So I think that's what, we already did A, D, so it's not and other. Besides, and other is not really a phrase, right? Any other is better. So let's go ahead and change this right here, which, remember, that was our marker for a space. So we actually want that to be an R. So the space is now an R. So go over here and, you know, what I was marking spaces with, now I'm going to make them R's. Run it again. Let's look for that any other. It's looking, you just kind of look around. Oh, what about that? What is that? Don't know. Reared? No. Reen? No. Hey, what about that? Green, right? That's got to be green. So D is probably a G. If D is a G, and I haven't been checking over in my chart, but if D is number 19, that's about the same level as a G over here, which I should have been doing all along, but you know, you wouldn't want to put something really uncommon up, you know, high with the common stuff. So you kind of try and match it straight across as close as you can. So I'm trying to say that D is a G, right? Is that what I'm doing? I can't remember. I can't find it anymore. Oh, right here. Yeah, that could be green. So because D could be a G because that's at the same level as G over here. So let's go ahead and make D a G. So D will now be a G. Run it again. This jump, now words are starting, to me, are starting to jump out. That looks like elegant. This looks like generation, right? That's got to be generation. So X has got to be an I. And then now it just starts getting easier now, right? So X is an I. It's got to be. And I'll run it again. And things are just going to, oh, right. It's just jumping out, right? Environment, it's got to be, right? And so V is a V. So V, let's change V to back to V to V. V is V, just by chance, right? It's getting faster now. So environment. So R must be an M. R is a capital M. Again, you see how this works? It's got to be. It's probably no. I don't know. Oh, hey, what about that? That looks like technologies to me, kinda, sorta. So L must be a C. L is a C. Run it again. I think you get the idea now, right? I'm gonna go ahead and just finish this because I'm having so much fun. See, I happen to know that that's observer because I have the source file, but that that's not the kind of thing that you might that's got to be cheaper, right? Cheater could be cheap. Well, we already know T. We don't have P. It's not. I can't think of anything besides cheaper. Cheater. I mean, A's got to be a P, I think. So A is a P. We could check over here on our. Yeah, A is number. It's right here. It's about the same level as P, so that's a good choice. Run it again. I'm gonna go ahead and finish. You know, you can always fast forward, but I'm about. What do you think? Probably about. Welcome. Make it exporter, net exporter. I is probably X. I'm going to go with that. I is X. Coal, right? COA. I mean, I happen to know, we know that this is about the environment. So you see, that's got to be disadvantaged, by the way, but this is probably coal. So little n is L. Oh, energy. Words are just jumping out at me now. So is that a Q? So Q is Y. Everybody, right? So W is a B for sure. Do you see how this works now? W is a B. Plentiful. I mean, you're probably seeing other words than I am, but words are just jumping out at me. Plentiful. So K is an F. I'm just changing one at a time because I can't remember. Technologies. P is an S. That's got to be make. M-A. So U is a K. Fossil fuels jumped out at me. So H, little h is a U. Glazing. Note the chunky double glazing on the elegant. So E is a Z. Big oil producer with M barrels a day. Doesn't, M is not right. Well, laws. Yeah, F is probably a W. Careful observer. Are we done? Chunky double glazing on the elegant windows of the heat pump whirring outside the basement entrance. From the outside, the 5-story house in London's posh Notting Hill district. I think we're done. Oh wait, G. Something and Libya. It's got to be a rack. Q's way down here, so we're getting into the ones. So G's got to be Q. We might be done. But anyway, at this point, you could just go through the chart and is SS. That's probably why I didn't see it. Just run it one more time. It's little SS. No. That's not right. What is that? Early barrel in the early something for now. I don't understand what's happening there. Well, I don't know. I don't know. You could figure that out, but I think you get the basic idea. So what do you got to do? Right now, I'm processing this particular file, and I happen to have the input and the output. You're not going to have both of those. I'm just going to give you an encrypted file produced with a different mapping, of course. And once again, I want you to, first run this thing with, as given, and it does these frequency analyses down here, right? Take these, sort them, compare them with known frequencies for English. You're going to know space, and E are going to jump right out at you right away. And if you could look for the word the, THE, that's your key. So start looking. Once you have spaces and E's, then these thes are going to start jumping out at you. These THEs are going to start jumping out at you, and then you can go ahead and do the guess on the T and the H, and then start looking for other four-letter or 5-letter words that have E's and T's in them, and carefully change one letter at a time, and you'll get it done. Okay, there's going to be a prize for this. Whoever gets this done first, email me the solution. Right? I think that's it. All right. I hope you have fun with this. Thanks for watching. See you next time.